Imagine this. It's the middle of the night. The house is dark. Everyone is asleep, except you. Your phone begins to ring. You look down and see a name on the screen, a name that makes your stomach drop. It's someone you love. Someone who disappeared months ago. Someone who is supposed to be gone. But the call is coming from their phone. And when you answer, you don't hear a voice. Only breathing. And something else you can't explain. Tonight, on TrueTales USA, the story of the last phone call. This case is one of the most unsettling unsolved mysteries in the American Northwest. A disappearance with no footprints, no clues, and no clear motive, except for one thing, a series of phone calls that should have been impossible. And once you hear the details, you'll understand why investigators still argue about this case today. Our story begins on a cool, early fall night in September 2013. In the quiet outskirts of Madison County, Montana, 29-year-old Daniel Reeves was the kind of person who didn't attract trouble. A mechanic, a volunteer at the local fire department, a man known for helping neighbors fix their trucks and plowing their driveways when snowstorms hit. He lived humbly, quietly, simply. That night, Daniel told his mother he was stepping out for a short drive. He didn't say where he was going, but that wasn't unusual. Driving was how he cleared his head. Hours passed. Midnight came and went. And he still wasn't home. The first sign that something was wrong came at sunrise. A rancher spotted Daniel's truck parked on a narrow dirt road deep inside the Beaverhead Forest area. The engine was still running. The headlights were on. The driver's door was wide open. And Daniel was nowhere in sight. Inside the truck were his keys, a half-full bottle of water, and his jacket. But not his phone. Search teams were called immediately. Dozens of volunteers, canine units, drones, detectives. They combed the forest. They checked ravines, streams, abandoned cabins. For days, they searched. But there was nothing, no tracks, no clothing, not even a scrap of torn fabric. Daniel had simply vanished. 3 months passed. Winter settled over Montana, the kind that silences entire towns. Under blankets of snow. Then, at 2:37 a.m., Daniel's mother woke up to the sound of her phone vibrating on the nightstand. She glanced at the screen and froze. Calling Daniel Reeves, her heart pounded, hands shaking. She answered, "Daniel, Daniel, is that you?" Silence. Then, breathing, slow and even. Almost like someone in pain. "Daniel, honey, talk to me, please." Nothing. Then a faint sound like wind whipping against the phone. 17 seconds later, the call ended. She called back immediately. The number was unreachable. The next morning, she went straight to the sheriff's department. Detectives checked phone records. The call was real. It originated from Daniel's number. But here's where it becomes chilling. According to the carrier, Daniel's phone had been powered off since the day he disappeared. Weeks passed. Then more calls began. Daniel's older brother received one. His ex-girlfriend another. A coworker, a close friend, and another friend. 5 more calls. Always between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. Never during the day. Every call was the same, breathing. Wind. A strange dragging sound, slow and rhythmic, like something being pulled along the ground. Then silence. One call lasted nearly 40 seconds. 2 friends reported hearing what sounded like someone trying to speak, but it was so muffled and distorted they couldn't make out a single word. Investigators pulled the records again. Each call traced back to a different cell tower. As if Daniel's phone was moving, sometimes miles at a time, even though it supposedly had no power. Detectives asked the same question everyone else did. Who had Daniel's phone? And how were they making calls with a device that shouldn't have been working? On January 11th, nearly 4 months after Daniel disappeared, a hunter stumbled upon something that changed the investigation. Deep inside a wooded area, thick brush, no trails, no cabins, no reason for anyone to be there, he found a backpack tangled in branches. Inside were a crushed cell phone, a damaged pocket knife, a torn flannel shirt, Daniel's wallet. The phone was tested immediately. Experts determined it had been physically destroyed long before the calls were made. The battery was shattered, internal components fractured, the SIM card was cracked. One technician said, "There is absolutely no way this phone could have powered on, let alone made calls." But the phone's IMEI serial number matched the device that made the calls. The calls came from this exact phone. And somehow, it had been dead for months. When the story became public, theories flooded in. Point 1. Someone found the phone and used it, but the SIM card was broken. The phone was empowered. And the calls happened miles apart, impossible on foot. 2. Technical glitch, carriers rejected this. These were live, intentional calls. 3. Daniel was alive, possible, but unexplained. Why no voice? Why no message? Why only midnight calls? 4. Something supernatural not supported by evidence, but many feel these calls were far beyond normal. The case went cold soon after. No footprints, no remains, no further calls, just silence. To this day, the final phone call remains one of the most baffling events in the entire investigation. How did a destroyed phone call 6 people? Why were the calls always after midnight? And why did they stop so suddenly? No one knows. Maybe the calls were meant to be a goodbye, or maybe they were a clue no one understood. Either way, this is the story of the last phone call. You've been watching TrueTales USA, of America's most gripping true stories. If you want more real cases that stay with you long after the screen goes dark, subscribe, hit the bell, and stay tuned for the next story.